AITA for kicking my nephew out of my house after he hid my husband's inhaler as a prank. My F30 sister F39 has cancer. She's a single mom of her 16-year-old son. We were asked to take him in while she gets treated so we could help him focus on studying and provide a normal routine for him. My husband has asthma. He needs his inhaler throughout the day. Thing is, my nephew is a prankster. He'd hide the inhaler as a prank, then give it back as soon as there's panic in the house. So far he's done it 2 times and thought it was just him messing around. The other day, my husband called me while I was at work panicking, saying his inhaler was lost. I asked if my nephew had taken it as a prank, but he doubted it since my nephew would give it back instantly after we panic. I got home and we looked for it for hours and had to go to THD hospital eventually. When we got back, we found it sitting at the coffee table. My husband and I looked at each other, and next thing we knew, my nephew was giggling upstairs. In that moment, I just lost it. I yelled at him, then told him he was no longer welcome in my home. He started panicking and my parents called me to get to the bottom of what happened, but still defended him, saying it was a prank and that I took things too far by kicking him out. While his mom is struggling, they insisted I take him back, but I refused. Now they're giving me hell about being unsupportive and making things more difficult for my struggling sister. They even blamed my husband for not keeping his things locked away. AITA, did I make a hasty decision? NTA. It's all fun and games till someone dies from an asthma attack because a spoiled brat stole the inhaler. Your parents just don't want him. This was no longer a prank. Watching your husband struggle and panic to the point where he went to the hospital. That's too far. Way too far. It's no longer a fun prank anymore. It's evil, cruel and malicious, and dangerous. What if your husband didn't make it to the hospital on time and choked in the car? It's an abuse of the generosity of you folks who are graciously hosting him. Kick him out. He is too old and should know better. This is not a small child but a 16-year-old on the verge of adulthood. He's going to learn the hard way. To those complaining, perhaps he needs TP go live with those protesting the loudest. NTA. NTA, ha ha ha. Criminally negligent manslaughter is a funny prank, guys. Let me just make one thing clear up: there is no situation, argument, or other circumstances where a damn 16-year-old is not a massive asshole for doing this. He's old enough to understand that your husband could die without the inhaler. You're well within your rights to set that boundary. NTA. Anytime any of these posts uses the word prank, I instantly know it's something dangerous, cruel, or a combination. Luckily your parents can take in this super funny prankster and they can lock up their medications while he just messes around. NTA. Asthma can be deadly, and if you're in the US you are probably going to owe a lot of money for that hospital visit. He's 16, not 6. He can live at home and maybe absorb some reality. Hopefully he won't finish his mom off by hiding her meds. WTF, man? NTA. The little psycho can stay with the grandparents if they're that upset. NTA. You're not obligated to have someone in your home who endangers your husband's life. And worse, laughs about it. NTA. So if your husband had an asthma attack due to this prank and God forbid died, would they be singing the same tune? 16 years old. This boy knows what he is doing and then lied about it. What if you hid his mother's meds? Would he like? Would he like? He's got to go. Your husband should not have to keep his things locked away in his own home. Especially a medical necessity he needs several times a day. Your nephew is old enough to know better. This is not a harmless prank and he is repeatedly doing it. If he is acting out because he is scared for his mother, he should be in counseling. Your parents can look after him for a while until he gets it. NTA. NTA. The nephew knew better. It's a prank if everyone can laugh about it afterwards, but your husband landed in hospital. And your nephew was laughing at what he should have seen as a prank gone wrong. He's a hazard. Your parents are also assholes. They are blaming the victim probably because they don't want anything to do with the nephew either. The fact that y'all had to look for hours then your husband was hospitalized because the nephew didn't return the inhaler is the key fact here. Not only did he cause panic and upset a few times, which was too far in the first place, but then he took a step further to hurt your husband intentionally, which could have even killed him. He knew your husband needed the inhaler and instead hid away and let him suffer through not being able to breathe. It's cruel and sadistic, and this kid clearly needs help. NTA at all, but anyone who is defending him is. Edit. A word. NTA. His prank sent your husband to the hospital. And it's not as if it was the first time he did it and couldn't anticipate the result. He's 16 years old, not 2. I know. Everyone else is saying, he's 16. Not 6, but frankly even a 6-year-old should know better. When I was 2, though, I hid my mom's friend's car keys and I really didn't have any idea at the time what chaos I was causing. NTA. Your parents can take him in where hopefully he won't prank them by hiding their needed medication and blaming your husband for not keeping his rescue inhaler locked away. Why? Because a 16 years old isn't old enough to know better? So stupid. NTA. Your nephew is 16, not 6. Your husband shouldn't have to lock away his things in the presence of a 16-year-old, especially after the first time, when I'm assuming you told him to stop touching your husband's medications. If your parents are so concerned, maybe they should take him in. NTA. Any prank that involves a hospital visit is no longer a prank. Your nephew had hours to give back the inhaler. Instead, he kept it hidden away in his room and giggled about it. I wouldn't let him set foot in my house again. What if the asthma attack had been more serious? How long would you husband have been gasping for air before this child gave back the inhaler? NTA. Pass them the hospital bill if they want to defend him so badly. It's life-threatening. NTA. Asthma can be fatal. Your husband's attack was serious enough to warrant a hospital visit. That's not funny. Would they still be thinking it's just a joke if something seriously bad had happened to your husband? As a hospital visit isn't quite serious enough apparently? You wouldn't hide a diabetic's insulin. This is no different. NTA. At 16 he's old enough to suffer the consequences of his actions. He has been reprimanded twice and still doesn't see the seriousness of what could have happened. If I were you, I would have made him pay for the hospital bill because of his prank. Those who support his actions should take care of him instead. If your nephew was 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 or 7, I can see overlooking this once, then explaining that it helps husband breathe, so it's not okay to hide it ever. But a 16 years does not need that explanation. They know inhalers are important. Then to dome it twice more? Nope. There are real consequences for stupid decisions. InTA. NTA. Time to go back at your parents with, are you going to support me when I have to bury my husband, who couldn't find an inhaler due to a prank? It's extreme but very true and real end result of this type of prank. Your nephew knew what he was doing since he is 16. 2 years from being an adult. He needs to learn consequences now, and I am sorry that his mom and your sister is going through Cancer, but that doesn't excuse the son's behavior. Also suggest your parents to take him in, since you can't risk your husband's health with actions that have happened multiple times. Keep standing up for you, husband. This is an absolute hill to die on. Glad your husband is okay now.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.